This video is best viewed in full screen mode, and on YouTube that's this icon right here. And if you have a high bandwidth connection, you also want to watch it in HD, which is this icon right here. In addition to this, we call the simple accounting style, there are other accounting styles that you can select from that'll bring up more columns in the grid. For example, if I select escrow, you get a whole bunch of more columns that you can work with. And also, if you click on this link here, it'll bring you up a dialog that'll show all the columns that are available to be put into this grid, and you can select which ones you want or don't want to show. So the whole idea is that everybody has their own way of doing things, and this program allows you to customize it for whichever way that works best for you. Down here at the bottom is where you put in the information for any payments that were made to the original judgment creditor for the judgment was assigned to you. So if Jill here made a $100 payment to the original judgment creditor before it was assigned to you, you put that information down here, and that all gets rolled into the calculations and allows the total amount due as of today to be properly calculated. If you notice here, we have $100 in pre-assignment payments and $600 in post-assignment payments, and that's where these values here come from. The next tab we're going to go over is the expenses tab, and it's really straightforward. You have the date of the expense, the description, and the amount. Under the circumstances, if the expense has actually already been rolled into the judgment, then you would fill out these two additional columns. And that circumstance would come up some courts when you file paperwork with the court and there's an expense. That expense is automatically added to the judgment, and so what you would do is just fill out these two columns. In this case here, this expense has not been added to the judgment, so we do not fill out those two columns. And then that brings you your total here of $50 that was added to the judgment, which is these two items here. And of course we have total expenses of $100, which is the total of these of all the expenses in this grid. And this total added to the judgment gets rolled up and gets put in here and helps you calculate your total due. Okay, and then that brings us over here to the summary tab. And this tab is as the name implies, a summary of all the information in regards to this judgment. Most of the data on this tab is pulled from other tabs. This gets pulled from the payments tab. This gets pulled from the judgment debtors tab. This here gets pulled from the judgments tab. And there are shortcuts. If you click on this, it'll take you right to the judgment tab and show you these amounts here. Over here is where you would archive the record if you were done with it. This is a functionality that allows you to move this record to the archive database. It doesn't delete it. It just moves it to a separate database so that it's no longer in your live database, but you can still get to it and view that information if you so desire. Over here on the left is the next action that you want to take, the date and the description. And in this list here is all of your actions that you've taken along the way or intend to take. If you click on this list, drop-down list, it'll show you all the actions. And this is fully customizable. You can actually put in up to 100 different actions into this drop-down list. And you would do that by selecting this here, and it'll bring up a dialog that tells you how to do that. And then also you can define in that same dialog how you want this grid to look when you create a new record. And now we're going to move over to searching and sorting. I can go over here and I could type in the word John, and it'll search through the entire database, through all the fields, and it'll look for anywhere where there is the name John. For example, here it's John Debtor. And if you notice, this background here turns up as yellow, and that yellow is a reminder that you're not looking at all the records in the database. You're looking at the 3 records that matched your search. And whenever you have this yellow, this button pops up, and you click on that, and that clears your filters and takes you back to viewing all of your records. In addition to be able to do a global search, you can also search on any one particular field in the database. So for example, if you notice, if I right-click on any of these fields, and that works that way in all the tabs, I get a pop-up menu, and I can go in here and I can say find, and I'm going to search for Arizona on the state field. And now, as you notice, I got 44 records. That's because almost all the records in here are from Arizona. And if I wanted to, I go over here and I could do another search, and I'm going to search for where the amounts of the judgment is between $1,000 and $1,500. And here I can say search current records or search all records. If I select that, it's going to search every record in the database. If I select that, it's only going to search through the 44 records that I'm currently viewing. And this allows you to basically do a search within a search. So now I'm going to hit find, and now I got 10 records. So I have 10 records in the database from the state of Arizona that have a value between $1,000 and $1,500. Okay, now we're going to clear the filters there, and we are going to talk about sorting. And you can right-click on a field, and you can select sort. And so now what we did is we sorted the entire database off this field here, and if you notice as we go through, it really is sorted alphabetically. And anytime you've done a sort and you want to get back to the original order of the records, you can sort off the record ID, and that puts them back into their original order. All right, in addition to be able to search and sort, there are also built-in queries to the database. And if we go over to this menu here, there are 4 types of what I call warnings. You can have the judgment that is getting close to expiring. You can have where it's time to bill the judgment debtor. You can have where there's an action due, which ties into this date here. And you can have where judgment debtor's payment is past due. And this menu item will query for each one of these items individually. Or if you select here, it'll query for all of these. So we hit that. And if you notice, we have 4 records. And these 4 records all have some sort of warning associated with them. In this case, it's action needs to be taken, and that's because this date is past due. Over here, we have a judgment expires and an action needs to be taken. And any of these records that have a warning, this background color is yellow, and then the explanation shows up here. You can be warned by default. The system warns you 90 days when a judgment is getting that close to being expired, but you can change that to whatever setting you want. So if you want to be warned 120 days in advance, you can do that through the user preferences screen. Here we got a JD payment is past due, and here we got an action needs to be taken and a judgment debtor's payment is past due. So that's what this query menu is about. If you select this, it'll bring up all the records that need your attention in regards to warnings. If you go down here, you can query for all errors, and this will bring you up all the records that have some sort of error associated with them. And whenever you see this here, you're going to get 2 indications. This here is going to be a background color, this pinkish red, which is a visual cue there's something wrong with this record. And this error menu here will light up and tell you how many errors you have. And when you click on that, it'll tell you what the problem is. It says the payment is entered, but the date is missing. And it's on the payments tab in the payments grid in the date paid field. So we go over here, we'll notice that there was a payment made of $200, but we didn't put it in the date. Well, until we put in the date, the system cannot calculate the amount due. So once we put in the date, you notice the error goes away. Click on the link to move to the next part of the video series.